Nikola Jokic is insane. Jokic just put on a show, 40 points in 30 minutes, and he didn't even need the fourth quarter. That's absolutely ridiculous. The guy shot 15 of 22 from the field, knocked down all 8 of his free throws, and still found time to rack up 8 assists, 7 rebounds, 3 steals, and even a block. And the best part, he did it all in just 3 quarters. This was pure domination. This was his 7th 40-plus point game of the season, and he's doing it on efficiency that just doesn't seem real. 68% from the field tonight, and this isn't some fluke. He's been doing this all season. Right now, he's averaging a 30-point triple-double on 66% true shooting. That is just absurd. There's nobody else in the league putting up these kinds of numbers while making it look this effortless. And here's the wildest part. He's barely even playing fourth quarters. Jokic has only played in 36 fourth quarters this season out of 54 possible games. That means in almost 1/3 of his games, he's sitting for the final 12 minutes because Denver already has it in the bag. Just for comparison, last season, before the All-Star break, he played in 42 fourth quarters. This year, he's closing even less because the Nuggets are blowing teams out left and right. That's how dominant he's been. Denver is rolling. They're 35-19, just 1 game away from second place in the West with only 1 game left before the All-Star break. Last season, at this same point, they were 36-19, nearly identical records. But the difference is that Jokic is somehow playing even better, and that should terrify the rest of the league. The Nuggets just did something that's only happened twice before in team history. 2 players finishing a game with at least 7 assists and 0 turnovers. Tonight, it was Aaron Gordon and Jalen Pickett pulling it off. But before this season, Denver had only done it twice in their entire history. Once against the Knicks with Jokic and Jamal Murray, and once against the Heat with Murray and Westbrook. The last time before that, 1990. That's how rare this is. And Jokic set the tone early. He had 16 points in the first quarter alone. He came out firing, completely in control, and Portland had absolutely no answers. By the time the second quarter rolled around, it already felt like the game was over. He just picked them apart, possession after possession, making the right read every single time. And it's not just the scoring. His passing was once again on another level. He's playing the best basketball of his career. And that's saying something for a guy who's already won 3 MVPs. The numbers don't even make sense. A 33.5 player efficiency rating, an insane net rating. And he's leading a team with no other All-Stars to a top 3 spot in the West. He's doing everything at an all-time level. And the scary part is that he still makes it look so effortless. And look, SGA is having an unreal season himself, but Jokic is just on another planet. The scoring, the efficiency, the passing, the impact, it's all off the charts. The Nuggets are right in the mix at the top of the West, and he's doing this without another All-Star on the roster. This is one of the greatest individual seasons we've ever seen, and he's making it look way too easy. And the thing is, this wasn't even close to Jokic's best game recently. Let's look at a few of his recent games. Let's look at literally last game. Jokic was on another level against the Suns. 26 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists, while barely breaking a sweat. And the efficiency? Just absurd. He hit 11 of 13 shots, drained 1 of his 2 threes, and knocked down all 3 of his free throws. That's 84.6% shooting. That's not just great, it's ridiculous. And this wasn't just a one-off hot night. He's been torching teams lately, averaging over 30 points per game in his last 3 outings. His shooting against Phoenix wasn't just impressive, it was miles ahead of his already elite season average of 57.2%. The guy is making nearly every shot he takes. It doesn't matter who's guarding him. It doesn't matter what defense the other team throws at him. He just doesn't miss. But it's not just about the scoring. Jokic dominated the glass with 11 rebounds and nearly racked up another triple-double with 9 assists. This was already his 14th game this season with at least 9 assists. 14. As a center, his passing is just as dangerous as his scoring, and the fact that he's doing this while averaging over 10 assists per game is flat out unfair. And the best part, he did all this in under 30 minutes. He didn't even need to play the fourth quarter. That's how dominant he is. The Nuggets keep blowing teams out, and Jokic keeps getting to sit back and watch the final stretch from the bench. That's the dream. It's not just about keeping him fresh, it's about proving that Denver's depth is strong enough to close out games without him. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day during the season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. I'm thinking about doing a video on Christian Braun tomorrow if you guys want to see that. Anyways, the game. Jamal Murray was on fire too. He dropped 30 points, hit 6 of his 9 threes, and he and Jokic combined for 56 points to lead Denver to their 6th straight win. The Jokic-Murray two-man game is only getting deadlier. And at this point, there's no defense that can fully stop them. The Suns had no answer. Devin Booker tried to keep Phoenix in it, dropping 24 points, but it didn't matter. The Suns were coming off an overtime battle against Utah, and they looked exhausted. Denver took full advantage, jumping out to a huge lead and never looking back. At one point, the Nuggets were up by 23, and they did it all without Michael Porter Jr., who was out with a hamstring issue. Jokic barely missed another triple-double, but let's be real, he doesn't care. He's out there running the game, setting up his teammates, and making everything look effortless. The numbers almost feel secondary at this point. His impact is just undeniable. Phoenix had no way to slow him down, and the Nuggets rolled to another easy win. He's playing his best basketball ever, and there's no sign of him slowing down. And what about before that against Orlando? Jokic just keeps stacking up these monster performances. 28 points, 12 assists, and 10 rebounds against the Magic, and he barely even played the fourth quarter. That's his 24th triple-double of the season, and he's making it look way too easy. He did all of this in just 31 minutes, and the Magic had absolutely no answers for him. The efficiency? Unreal, as always. 11 of 16 from the field, 2 of 4 from deep, and 4 of 6 from the line. That's 75.1% true shooting. That's ridiculous for any player, but for a guy who's also running the entire offense, just unfair. He's not just scoring at an elite level, he's doing it without wasting a single possession. And it's not like Orlando was just letting him do whatever he wanted. The Magic have been one of the better defensive teams this season, but it didn't matter. Jokic picked them apart anyway. They had no way to slow him down, and their offense completely collapsed in the process. Just look at what happened to the Magic's shooting. Only 3 players on their entire roster hit more than 2 field goals. Only 1 player made more than 6. They went a staggering 21 minutes and 43 seconds without a single made 3. That's almost an entire half of basketball without hitting a shot from deep. Jokic's impact on both ends completely disrupted their rhythm, and they just couldn't get anything going. And the Nuggets? They rolled to their 5th straight win, and Jokic was once again the driving force behind everything. He was a plus 22 in just 30 minutes. That means that in the time he was on the floor, Denver completely controlled the game. The second he checked out, the Magic had a chance. The moment he was back in, game over. The balance in his scoring was beautiful too. He shot 75% on 2s, 50% on 3s, and got to the line 6 times. Every single aspect of his offensive game was working, and there was nothing Orlando could do about it. This wasn't just a great performance. This is what he's been doing all season. It's getting to the point where these ridiculous stat lines don't even feel surprising anymore. This is just what he does. Triple doubles, hyper efficiency, total control of the offense. It's all automatic. He's putting together one of the greatest offensive seasons the league has ever seen, and he's doing it while making everything look effortless. 5 straight wins, 24 triple doubles, and still putting up insane numbers in limited minutes. Jokic isn't just great, he's playing at a level that shouldn't even be possible. And then before that, against the Pelicans, he was crazy too. Jokic just keeps proving why he's one of the most unstoppable forces in the game. 38 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds against the Pelicans, and he did it all while making it look effortless. The Nuggets absolutely dismantled New Orleans, dropping 144 points in a dominant win. And at the center of it all was Jokic, doing whatever he wanted. His efficiency? Unreal. 10 of 15 on 2s, 5 of 13 from deep, and a perfect 3 for 3 from the line. That's 64.8% true shooting while taking 28 shots. That's absurd for anyone. But for a guy running the entire offense, it's just unfair. The Pelicans had no way to slow him down. When they backed off, he drilled his jumper. When they played him tight, he bullied them inside. When they sent extra defenders, he picked them apart with his passing. There was no right way to defend him. No matter what they tried, he had an answer for it. And he wasn't just scoring. His playmaking was elite as always. 10 assists, picking apart the defense with ease, making the right read every single time. He's seeing openings before they even exist. He's turning double teams into easy buckets for his teammates. He's creating shots for everyone while still dropping nearly 40 points himself. That's what makes him so dangerous. He's not just a scorer. He's not just a passer. He's both at the exact same time. And the defense can't take away everything. The Nuggets didn't just win. They dominated from start to finish. Jokic was a plus 24 in 35 minutes. When he was on the court, Denver completely controlled the game. When he checked out, the Pelicans had a chance to keep things close. But the moment he stepped back in, game over. That superstar impact right there. And then there's Michael Porter Jr. He was on fire, tying his career high with 39 points on absurd efficiency. 16 of 23 from the floor, 5 of 9 from 3. And he even grabbed 12 rebounds. Him and Jokic just made NBA history. They became the first teammates ever to drop 35-point double-doubles, while each hitting at least 5 threes in the same game. That has never happened before. That's not just a good night. That's an all-time performance. Denver was back in rhythm after that brutal East Coast road trip. They struggled for a bit, but now that they're home, they're rolling again. These wins are huge, especially against struggling teams. Every single game matters when you're fighting for playoff positioning, and the Nuggets are stacking up wins, even without Russell Westbrook and Peyton Watson. That's what championship caliber teams do. And Jokic, he's doing this night after night like it's nothing. Another near triple-double, another dominant scoring performance, another night of completely running the game. He's putting together one of the most insane offensive seasons we've ever seen, and he's making sure every single game counts. But then let's jump back a couple weeks ago now against Philly. Jokic was absolutely dominant against the Sixers. 28 points, 13 assists, and 9 rebounds on 11 of 16 shooting, and he completely took over in the final minute. This was a game the Nuggets had to have after dropping 3 straight, and Jokic made sure they got it done. Denver pulled out a 137-134 win in a thriller, and Jokic was the difference when it mattered most. He scored 8 points in the last minute of the fourth quarter, proving once again that he's one of the most clutch players in the game. It doesn't matter how tight the game is, how much pressure is on. He always delivers. The Sixers had no answer for him late, and once he flipped that switch, it was game over. And the efficiency? Just ridiculous. 11 of 16 from the field, hitting shots from everywhere, picking apart the defense, and setting up his teammates. He was just 1 rebound shy of yet another triple-double. And this wasn't just a stat-padding night. Every single one of those points and assists mattered, and the Nuggets needed every bit of it to snap their losing streak. Jamal Murray was huge too. 31 points, 11 assists, and he was Denver's leading scorer on the night. He shot 12 of 22 from the field, knocked down big shots all game long, and when he wasn't scoring, he was setting up his teammates. This was his 4th double-double of the season, and his playmaking was just as important as his scoring. The Sixers had to respect his shot, and that opened everything up for Jokic to go to work late in the game. Michael Porter Jr. was right there with them, adding 24 points on 10 of 16 shooting, plus 6 rebounds and a block. He was locked in from the start, hitting big shots throughout the game, and his efficiency was just as impressive as Jokic's. Whenever Denver needed another scoring option, Porter Jr. stepped up, giving them exactly what they needed to stay in control, and the bench came through in a big way. Julian Strawther had one of his best games, scoring 18 points on nearly perfect shooting, 6 of 7 from the field and 4 of 5 from deep. He caught fire in the second quarter, scoring almost half of his points during that stretch, and his shooting gave Denver a huge boost when they needed it. As a team, Denver was lights out. They shot an insane 65.9% from the field and over 52% from 3. That kind of efficiency is nearly impossible to beat, and their ball movement was on another level. They were getting open looks all night, setting up easy buckets for Murray and Aaron Gordon, and it was a dunk fest early on. Strawther went off in the second quarter, and by halftime, Denver was up 73-69. The third quarter was a battle, and the Sixers wouldn't go away. Tyrese Maxey was a problem all night, and when the fourth quarter rolled around, he turned it up another level. He scored 12 points in the final stretch and led a 14-5 run that made things way too close for comfort. Just when it looked like Denver was about to pull away, Philly stormed right back into it. But that's when Jokic took over. He shut down the Sixers' momentum with a huge 3, then followed it up with a tough and one hook shot that gave Denver some breathing room. Then he knocked down another 3 to push the lead to 3, and it was clear this was his moment. Maxey kept fighting, drawing a foul and making it a 1-point game, but Denver had the answer. With the game on the line, they went to their bread and butter, the Murray-Jokic 2-man game. The Sixers tried to blitz Murray, but that was a mistake. He read the defense, floated a perfect pass to Jokic, and that was it. Jokic caught it, drove, and finished with a perfect floater to seal the win. Absolute clutch performance. This was a huge win for Denver, and they needed it badly. Jokic was incredible, Murray was unstoppable, and the entire team stepped up when it mattered. They snapped the losing streak, improved to 29-19, and showed once again that when it's crunch time, Jokic is the guy you want with the ball in his hands. And then we can look at the game versus Chicago. Jokic just put on an all-time clinic against the Bulls. He became the first player in NBA history to shoot a perfect 10 of 10 from the field in a first half, while also dishing out 8 assists. That's not just great, that's historic. No one has ever done it before. Not a single miss while running the entire offense. That's absurd, and the way he did it, completely effortless. This wasn't some forced scoring explosion where he was hunting shots. This was just Jokic being Jokic, taking what the defense gave him, setting up teammates, and making the right play every single time. And in the process, he made history. No player had ever gone a perfect 10 for 10 and a half with at least 10 attempts while also handing out at least 8 assists. Ever. Not one. Until now. That's how ridiculous this guy is. He's out here breaking records without even trying. By the time the game was over, his stat line was completely insane. 33 points, 14 assists, 12 rebounds, and 3 steals, while shooting 15 of 21 from the field. He was everywhere. He dominated as a scorer, he controlled the game as a passer, he rebounded like a machine, and he even got his hands on the ball defensively. It was one of those performances where you just sit back and wonder, how is anyone supposed to stop him? And the craziest part, he did it all within the flow of the game. There were no forced shots, no wasted possession, just pure efficiency. He was knocking down everything inside, setting up easy buckets for his teammates, and making the Bulls' defense look completely helpless. There was no stopping him. Every time Chicago sent extra help, he found the open man. Every time they played him straight up, he punished them. It was a no-win situation for the Bulls, and they had no answers all night. But here's the frustrating part. Denver still lost. Even with Jokic putting up one of the greatest stat lines of the season, the Nuggets fell to a struggling Chicago team that came in at 19-27. It was one of those games where one player did everything possible to carry his team, but it just wasn't enough. And the reason? The defense just wasn't there. The Bulls dropped 129 points on Denver, and that's just way too many. It's almost impossible to win games when you're letting the other team get whatever they want. Jokic was nearly perfect, but the rest of the team just couldn't get enough stops. And it wasn't just one guy lighting them up, it was everyone. Every single Bulls starter scored at least 10 points. That's the worst case scenario for any team. If one player is going off, you can adjust, double team, or force them into tough shots. But when the entire starting lineup is rolling, that's a nightmare. 7 different Bulls players finished in double digits, and Denver had no answer for any of them. It just goes to show that no matter how great Jokic is, defense still wins games. You can have the most dominant player on the floor, but if you're letting the other team score at will, it won't matter. Chicago had way too many easy looks, and even though Jokic did everything in his power to keep Denver in it, the lack of stops made it impossible to pull out the win. And that's the frustrating part, because if the Nuggets had just played a little better on defense, this game wouldn't have even been close. When you have a guy putting up a historic performance like this, you have to capitalize. You can't waste games like this, especially when you're fighting for playoff positioning. These losses add up. But even with the loss, Jokic's performance was legendary. He's playing at a level that almost doesn't seem real. Every night, he's doing something that makes history. And this was just another example. 33 points, 14 assists, 12 rebounds. Perfect first half, unstoppable efficiency. This was one of those games that reminds everyone exactly why he's one of the best to ever do it. But the game against the Kings, that was historic. Jokic put together one of the most ridiculous performances in NBA history. 35 points, 22 rebounds, and 17 assists against the King. It sounds like something out of a video game. Those numbers don't even seem real, but they happened. And to put this into perspective, only one other player has ever recorded a stat line like that in NBA history. That player, Wilt Chamberlain, and he did it all the way back in 1968. That's over 50 years ago. Anytime you're in the same conversation as Wilt, you know you've done something legendary. And Jokic didn't just do it. He made it look easy. The Kings had absolutely no answer for him. He controlled the game from start to finish, reading the defense like a book, setting up his teammates for easy buckets, and scoring at will whenever he wanted. And let's talk about his efficiency. He shot 12 of 19 from the field while being the focal point of every single Denver possession. That's absurd. When a player is getting double teamed, hounded by defenders, and still shooting that efficiently, it tells you just how unstoppable they are. Jokic doesn't take bad shots. He only takes what the defense gives him, and when you're as skilled as he is, you always find the best look available. And just to add to the insanity, he knocked down 2 of his 3 attempts from beyond the arc. So even when defenders tried to sag off and clog the paint, he had no problem stretching the floor and draining threes. There was no right way to defend him. Play him one-on-one, he scores easily. Double him, he finds the open man. Sag off, he hits the jumper. He made the Kings' defense completely useless. And it wasn't just defense, he did it all. 2 blocks, a steal, and constant activity on both ends of the floor. This wasn't just a game where Jokic put up crazy numbers. This was a complete takeover in every aspect of the game. He dictated the tempo, made sure his teammates were in the right spots, and just ran the entire show from start to finish. And the way he did it, effortless. He wasn't out there forcing things or playing outside of himself. He was just playing his game, and his game is pure domination. And if all that wasn't enough, this was his 5th straight triple-double, 5 in a row. That's 5 consecutive games of complete dominance, where he didn't just fill the box score, he controlled every single minute he was on the floor. And to make it even crazier, this was his 20th triple-double of the season. 20th. And it wasn't even the All-Star break yet. Some players go their entire careers without 20 triple-doubles, and Jokic had already hit that mark before February. That's how absurd his level of play has been this season. And on the same night that he delivered one of the most mind-blowing stat lines in NBA history, he was officially named an All-Star starter. Like there was ever a doubt. Jokic has been playing basketball at a level very few in history have ever reached. But the scariest part, this wasn't some fluke game. This wasn't some once-in-a-lifetime performance. This was just another night for him. That's how consistently great he's been. What really separates Jokic from everyone else is how he impacts every single possession. Those 17 assists weren't just random passes. They were the foundation of Denver's offense. He wasn't just setting up teammates. He was dictating the entire flow of the game. Every pass was timed perfectly. Every read was flawless. He sees plays develop before they even happen, and that allows him to create easy looks that no other big man in the league can generate. He's not just passing the ball, he's manipulating the defense and putting his teammates in perfect scoring positions every time down the floor. And then there's the rebound. 22 boards. That's pure dominance. It wasn't just about securing rebounds, it was about controlling possessions. Jokic has an uncanny ability to track the ball in real time, positioning himself perfectly for every single board. The reason he puts up these video game numbers isn't just because he's skilled, it's because his basketball IQ is on another level. He sees the game differently than everyone else, and that allows him to be one step ahead at all times. The Nuggets are thriving because of his brilliance. He's averaging nearly 30 points, 15 rebounds, and 11 assists while shooting with absurd efficiency. 55% from the field, 46% from three, and 85% from the free throw line. Those numbers are insane, especially for a center who's also running the offense. And that true shooting percentage of over 65%, that's unheard of. Jokic is putting together one of the most historic offensive seasons of all time. Averaging a triple-double is already rare, but doing it while being the most efficient player in the league, that's something we've never seen before. And yet somehow, he's still trailing SGA in MVP odds. That's insane. No disrespect to Shai, he's been phenomenal, but Jokic is on a completely different level. If he doesn't win MVP, it's purely because of voter fatigue. The same thing happened when Joel Embiid won the award. Even though Jokic had the better season, if people weren't taking his greatness for granted, he could easily have 5 straight MVPs right now. And that's the craziest part. Jokic's dominance has become so normal that people just expect it. If a player like Jason Tatum or SGA had 5 straight triple-doubles, the MVP conversation would already be over. But because it's Jokic, people shrug it off like it's just another game. That's what happens when you sustain greatness for so long. People start treating it like it's routine. But make no mistake, what Jokic is doing is far from normal. These aren't just great performances. These are once-in-a-generation performances happening on a nightly basis. The numbers don't even seem real, but this is just what Jokic does. He's redefining what it means to be a superstar. And at this point, the only thing left to do is appreciate the greatness we're witnessing. And then before that, he had another massive one against Philly. Jokic was absolutely unstoppable against the Sixers, putting together yet another masterpiece on the court. 27 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists. His 19th triple-double of the season. 19th. That number alone is ridiculous, and it's not even the All-Star break yet. He's stacking up triple-doubles like they're nothing. And at this point, it's just expected. He's not just impacting one area of the game, he's doing everything. Scoring efficiently, dominating the glass, and making plays for everyone around him. When you have a player who can take over a game in every possible way, stopping him isn't just difficult, it's impossible. And the Nuggets, they absolutely steamrolled the Sixers, cruising to a 144-109 blowout win in what turned into one of their most dominant performances of the season. Denver was in control from the opening tip, and by the time Jokic secured his triple-double late in the third quarter with a perfect assist for an Aaron Gordon dunk, his job was done. He didn't even need to step on the floor in the fourth quarter, because he had already completely dismantled the Sixers. That's how dominant this performance was. He didn't even need the final 12 minutes to put up a stat line that most players wouldn't reach in a full 48 minutes. And let's talk about Denver's efficiency in this game, because it was flat out absurd. The Nuggets shot an unreal 61.2% from the field and an even crazier 51.6% from beyond the arc. When a team is shooting that well, there's no stopping them. It's impossible to keep up when shots are falling at that rate, and Jokic was the one setting everything up. His ability to control the offense, dictate the pace, and create perfect scoring opportunities for his teammates is exactly what separates him from every other superstar in the league. He's not just scoring, he's running the entire show. Every possession flows through him, and he's consistently making the right reads, setting up teammates, and making the game look so effortless. And it wasn't just Jokic putting on a show. Aaron Gordon was nearly perfect from the floor, and it was all thanks to the way Jokic set him up. Gordon didn't have to force a single thing because Jokic made sure every shot he took was the best look possible. That's what makes Jokic so unique. He's not just padding stats, he's actively elevating everyone around him. He's creating plays that wouldn't exist without his presence, his passing, his court vision, and his ability to anticipate plays before they even happen make him the most dangerous playmaker in the NBA. And this is exactly why the Nuggets are so tough to beat when they're locked in. It's not just about individual performances, it's about how Jokic makes the entire team better. He's not just a superstar who dominates the box score. He's the engine that makes everything run. Without him, the Nuggets aren't the same. And this game was a perfect example of how crucial he is to everything Denver does on offense. This win against the Sixers was more than just another blowout. It was a statement, a reminder that Jokic is on another level and continues to shatter expectations night after night. What he's doing this season is beyond special. He's making history on a nightly basis, and the craziest part, he makes it look routine. This level of dominance should be nearly impossible, but he's doing it game after game without breaking a sweat. And let's not forget, the Sixers came into this game desperate for a win. They had already lost 6 straight and were looking to snap their skid, but Denver didn't give them a chance. The Nuggets completely overwhelmed them, and Jokic made sure there was no room for a comeback. By the second half, it wasn't even a contest anymore. The Nuggets are in incredible hands with Jokic leading the way, and as long as he's on the floor, they're going to be a nightmare for any team to deal with. When he's locked in, Denver is almost unbeatable. They play through him perfectly, they trust his decision making, and when the shots are falling like they did in this game, they're unstoppable. What makes Jokic's season even more incredible is the way he continues to improve. He's averaging close to a triple-double on insane efficiency, and yet he's still finding ways to get better. He's making the game easier for everyone around him while continuing to put up some of the most absurd stat lines in NBA history. This wasn't just another great game. It was another reminder of why Jokic is one of the greatest players the game has ever seen. Overall, though, Jokic is on one of the most incredible runs we've ever seen, and at this point, there's no denying that he deserves his 4th MVP. What he's doing night after night isn't just great, it's historic. He's averaging a near triple-double while shooting at an efficiency level that doesn't even seem real. He's controlling every single possession, making his teammates better, and putting up stat lines that have only been matched by legends like Wilt Chamberlain and Oscar Robertson. And the craziest part, he's making it look easy. Every game, he's out there dropping 25, 30, sometimes 40 points, while also dishing out double-digit assists and grabbing rebounds like he's the best big man to ever do it. His impact goes beyond the numbers. He's the most complete offensive player in the game today. He doesn't just score, he doesn't just pass, he doesn't just rebound. He does all of it every single night without forcing anything. His game is pure dominance through skill, IQ, and efficiency. In this run he's been on, it's something we've never seen before. He's stacking up triple-doubles like they're nothing, and the Nuggets keep winning because of it. He's already put together multiple stretches of 4, 5, even 6 straight triple-doubles this season, and it's barely even being talked about because people have started taking his greatness for granted. If any other player was doing this, the MVP race would be over, but because it's Jokic, people just expect it. That's the price of sustained excellence. Now, I'm not taking anything away from SGA, because he's been absolutely incredible this season. He's been one of the most dominant scorers in the league, leading his team to a top seed in the West and doing it all while being one of the most efficient, high-volume scorers in the game. His defense has also taken a massive leap, and he's proving that he's one of the most complete players in the league. If Jokic wasn't having the season he's having, Shea would absolutely deserve MVP. But the reality is, Jokic is having the season. And no matter how good Shai has been, Jokic has been even better. His numbers are more balanced. His impact on winning is undeniable, and he's doing things that simply shouldn't be possible. The way he dominates games without ever forcing anything is something we've never seen before. At the end of the day, the MVP award should go to the best player in the league. And this season, that player is Nikola Jokic. No one is controlling the game like him. No one is putting up these kinds of numbers, and no one is leading their team the way he is. He's already won 3 MVPs, and honestly, He could have easily won 5 straight if voter fatigue didn't exist. This season, he's proving once again why he's the most valuable player in the game. I just hope the voters don't overthink it. Jokic deserves his 4th MVP. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll be posting every day during this season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.